All
Sure.
right, so record button is going. Um, okay, can't see me on Zoom right now, but I'm smiling. All right. Albert said, nice shirt, Sam. And oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll talk about this maybe a little bit in the Zoom. I hope someone got unmuted again. Okay, maybe I'm clicking the wrong ask all to mute. Oh, mute upon entry. There we go. Yeah, John and I will share a little bit in a minute here about just what we got going on. And uh, I was like getting the feeling like a couple months ago, and I was like, man, I have not done anything with John Kleinbell. Like it's been a minute. So I think I called him up and I'm like, hey, let's do something, you know? And so I love it. John's always like ready to, I don't know, go on an adventure or jump on board to anything. Um, yeah. So yeah, this is looking good. This is sweet. Bunch of people hanging out with us. And we don't have too much of an agenda. Thought kind of make this more conversational, catching people up, let people in a little bit on you know what I've been doing, what John's been doing, and then might share just a little thing about in my Sam's Recording Academy. John's going to be with us for the month of November. So I'll talk about that just a little bit. But let me see here. I did kind of remotely write down a little format here. Let me remind myself and get my notes out here. So John, what's been up? What's been going on with you? Fill us in.
Yeah, lots of stuff. Hey, first off, for anybody who doesn't know me, there's some folks on here who do know me, and there's some folks on here who don't. So I just want to give a little intro in case you're wondering who the heck is this guy with the cool lid. My name is John Kleinbell. I'm the owner of Make Moves in Music. It's a music entrepreneurs movement. I also have a podcast called the M3 Podcast. I'm the director of music at Catch the Moon Music. We have taught thousands of students these last couple of years about, well, actually, it's been around for longer than that, but I've been involved in teaching about music licensing to thousands of students for the last couple of years, which has been really awesome. And during these last 5 or 6 years, I've amassed a library myself of about 220 songs over that like 4 or 5 year span. I'm a songwriter, producer, session vocalist. I've worked on a lot of sync projects. I've got dozens of placements. I think the last time I counted them all, it was like near 40. I love helping people. I'm glad to be here. And yeah, I'm excited. Let's do this.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks. And I think most people know myself, but maybe I should do the same real quick. Sam Canuck, someone was just earlier today saying about my last name, and I'm like, yeah, I don't correct people all the time. I get Kanak and like all kinds of different stuff, but I always say Canuck you out. Way to remember it. wah, wah. But yeah, kind of same thing of being in the music world and recording and having a studio for, you know, in different spots, but for 20 some odd years. And just again, like John's sharing too, just passionate about music and making the music and doing it better. And at the same time, helping people too. Oh, we got Cinder in here and Alyssa. Yeah, Lance. Gosh, we got some good people in the chat. So yeah, so that's it. And John and I. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to share for, and maybe some of you don't know this, but John and I met. John was a little bit part of Kathy Heller's course, or worked with her a little bit. Gosh, here in Southern California, was that 5 or 6 years ago?
It was the first time I took a course about music licensing was the summer of 2015.
Wow.
So 6 years ago, I took a one-time workshop that was happening in Hollywood in Room 5, a little singer-songwriter venue. And yeah, that next year was really all about learning about licensing for me and taking some workshops.
And I think I came to study the same type of thing, probably right at the tail end of John. And I still to this day don't remember who, but someone was like, Sam, you should link up with this guy, John. You guys have a lot in common, and I think would, you know, hit it off. And so I think it started with maybe an email or maybe it was a Facebook message, but which just whoever that person was, I'm so grateful that we connected in that way and started working on a bunch of music together. That was the first part, was just like, hey, let's do this. And John was getting some briefs already. So that was totally fun, because we'd be like, ooh, we can make a song like this. And that really kicked off the both of us kind of pushing each other, kind of volleying back and forth to make a bunch of music. And then the other thing I was going to share that maybe some people don't know is that John and I had co-led a course for, I think it went a year long, called Song Challenges. And that was like a lot of fun and learning curve, I think, for both of us. And I would argue something that really kind of gave me the perspective on like how a virtual course can go to help build into what became Sam's Recording Academy too. So yeah, do you want to, you have anything on top of that? Or
I thought that was fun. While you were talking about that, I thought it might be funny to go in and see if I could find like the first message that I ever, first interaction that I ever had with you. Cause it was like back in 17, I'm pretty sure.
okay.
But I found we had like a collaboration on June 27th, 2017.
Okay.
It might take a while to get back to but I'm pretty sure that we first connected on like Facebook through some type of connection. And then we started working together on some stuff, and we landed a couple of placements with one of our songs fairly early on into our collaborating with each other. And I don't know, Sam's just like, you all know, Sam's like a great guy. He's always so like generous with how he helps everybody, why we all love Sam. And it's part of, like, I think honestly, a big part of the people that I find that have the most success in the music industry are some of the most generous and cool people too. And Sam's one of those guys. So I feel
I could say the exact same thing right back.
Feel very lucky to be here and just to like, to be able to talk about, here we were, there we were, like, what was that, like 4 years ago or so. And now we're doing cool stuff, creating movements and ways to continue to accelerate the careers of everybody out there. We're trying to do the best we can to pass forward the things that we know. And I'm very excited to be here we're going to be collaborating for like an entire month with Sam's Recording Academy. We're going to be collaborating together and bringing you some cool productivity stuff and really like the project management kind of stuff, which I'm very excited about. Yeah.
And I'll say that that's the first thing that hit me when I'm like, make moves in music, Sam's Recording Academy come together. I have gotten so much from John, just even in all this kind of years of collaborating and working together about doing this kind of stuff. John is, kind of I joke sometimes. I tell my wife, I'm like, John's perfect for me because we're a little bit opposites, but like, I mean, that's like a good, in a good way, a good thing. But yeah, John, I love it, is on it, and I always need someone like that in my life to be like, let's organize this, let's have a system to do this, let's follow through the steps. And so if I can impart some of that, vicariously, having John, workshop us in some of this, man. And I'm sure I'm going to get something out of it too, because I always need to refine my flow here, my work ethic. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah. And and one of the things with this too is that, I thought about this, I've really kind of circled back to, because this is something that I've wanted to, for musicians, we all need. I know that it's taken me my entire lifetime to put together the skills and the kind of the processes and kind of like the learning the discipline of how to tune out distractions and how to be as productive as possible. Because it's a thing where, like, us musicians, we're not necessarily inclined. We're so creative, right? But we aren't necessarily inclined to build those systems and kind of have like a process in effect to just kind of show up and kick ass every day. So that's something over these last few months I've thought, well, how have I been able to like do 220 tracks in 4 years, and how have I been able to do this and this and this and this and not completely lose my sanity? And then I realized, well, maybe this is something I could spend a little bit of time sitting down, putting into thoughts, putting my thoughts to paper. And that's basically what I've been doing these last 6 months pretty heavily. And I'm very excited to partner with Sam's Recording Academy. This next month we'll be doing some workshops on basically how to tune out your distractions and how to get going from, like, because I liken it to this. It's like, we want to take a lot of action, right? We take a lot of action, but if we're not careful, what your life can start to kind of look like. And I don't know why I was thinking of what did my life look like before I was organized, before I wanted to do so much. I was like working so hard. And what did it end up looking like though? If I was like an outside observer checking it out. And the best analogy that I could come up with was like, in front of like the mattress store, in front of the like auto dealership, they have those like inflatable, like the inflatable man. He's like this. He's like just in one place, like flailing around. It's like, yeah, wacky tube man, right? That's the image that I could see. And I was like, that's totally what I was doing. In some ways, I was getting so riled up. I was like, I got to do this, got to do this, do this. And I wasn't really moving forward at all. Not really moving forward. I was just kind of like, because I would get stuck and I would get distracted and I would just be standing in one place flailing around. And so, one thing that I really it's become very clear to me that I would love to do is help people to get unstuck from that and really get moving and take that energy and really channel it in a way that just keeps propelling and exciting you and rewarding yourself for doing a good job. And it just brings excitement into finding different ways to steer your excitement, not into just doing work, but also just making sure that you are steering some of that excitement into building systems that you love and enjoy, and they just kind of reward and give back to you as you do good work. I was going to say jerk, but as you do good work. Yeah, that's my thoughts with this is that, I think that everybody can be super productive. Everybody has the ability to be more productive, to tune out distractions, but it does take work. It takes work. And I think like it does take mindfulness. And that's one of the things I'd love to be able to help everybody out with.
Man, that's like so good. And I think about too, it is interesting helping a lot of creative people, musicians. Like there's that almost like blessing and a curse that comes with just being a highly creative person, highly emotive person, someone that's attached to this art. And I even love like what you just said, John, right there, like how, allowing people to also be creative in the ways, because it does not work to tell someone, just here's what you have to do. Step 1, 2, 3, everyone's got to do that. We all got to do it at the same time. Artists buck that kind of thing. Like we don't want to like be forced into a mold. Like we're creative people. We should be able to creatively know ourselves and understand different ways that we can, like you just said, find a rhyme and a reason and put in that work and develop like, the habits and mindfulness. I love that. Mindfulness assumes that I haven't lost my mind. That's funny. Yeah. And let me throw in at this point too, because again, on my agenda is just to have John kind of share like what he's been up to, and he's kind of doing that already. But maybe if I could just plug too, and you could tell us a little bit more, but I love, John, that you've figured out like, this is really what I want to help people with. And now you have like the podcast going, you have the kind of group on Facebook, and it's all so perfectly got the theme and the alignment kind of running through. But yeah, you share like, hopefully everyone on here is listening to John's podcast. Everyone needs to go listen to it, because I'm almost to the latest episode. I'm like going through them one by one, but dude, so good. So good.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been fun. We're up to, I think, episode 13. I've got like a bunch more recorded, and I'm just in the process of editing them right now. There's a lot that I want to do with that group and do with the podcast. Now, the podcast is not all about like project management and learning how to be more productive and things like that. It's really like the entire Make Moves in Music movement is all about empowering music entrepreneurs, making it so that they can really see and really take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. There's so many ways you can earn in the music industry. And so I'm always looking to open, if I can open like one person's eyes to a couple of opportunities that they hadn't thought of before. It's what I'm aiming for when I'm bringing on guests, and definitely what I'm aiming for when I'm in the process of putting some really cool resources together that I'm about to offer. So that's what's about to happen with M3, but we got a good group over there. Please join us over on the Facebook group. And yeah, I've got 13 episodes of the podcast that are ready to listen to right now. If you haven't taken a listen to them yet, jump in. There's a bunch of guest interviews. There's also a bunch of mini-sodes where I just go talk about something that's interesting to me for 10 or 15 minutes and as it pertains to the music industry. It's all out there for everybody to enjoy right now. So check it out if you get a chance. And yeah, I'm excited about this collaboration we got going on here. That's going to happen in the month of November. That's going to look like a weekly call, right?
Yeah. Someone asked that in the chat, like, when are the Zoom calls? So I went a little bit crazy this summer. People that were along for the ride this summer, there was a point where I think I was kind of offering a little Zoom thing like Monday through Friday. I don't know how I kept that up for the whole summer long, but I was doing kind of little mini lessons. And then now we're just doing like, I do kind of like a check-in with everyone on Monday, and then John will be joining on Fridays. So around this time on Friday through November, we'll have a couple of themes going, we'll have some question and answer time. I really love this Sam's Recording Academy thing has just become about kind of like a tribe and a conversation, and people, sharpening each other and bouncing things off of each other. And every once in a while I say something that helps someone do something better, maybe in recording or mixing. But it's been awesome. And we've kind of had a little running theme every month. That's something else that we have that's really fun. And then people are making music, and sometimes it's 1 or 2 songs in a month or a couple of mini things. And then we kind of all show off at the end of the month what we've created. So yeah. Someone wrote fork in the chat. Yeah,
right.
no,
we'll definitely talk about that. If there's all different kinds of little techniques. The thing that I've been doing these last like 5 or 6 months is taking all these little things that it's like wash the fork, like all these different little things that have helped me out over the years with getting motivated, having the right mindset, having the right setting up your work environment for success. It's like all these different things, like this device right here, making sure that this thing isn't driving you crazy with notifications nonstop, your social media, your email, your computer, like all of that stuff. There's ways that you can optimize all of these little things. And it's going to be really fun to dive into some of that stuff over this next month. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm just calling it right here. I want to be a good student. So I know you're going to give us like some things to think about and work on. So I'm going to jump in too. I'm going to try to,
Awesome.
Oh man, you're hitting me though with the social media and the phone thing. I'm like, yeah. And then let's see. I thought maybe there was another question in there. So yeah, so Fridays is when we do it. Sam's Recording Academy, everything is saved and archived and loaded into, you get access into a website. So that's a lot of fun, as you can go back and watch content in the old coaching calls. And I've done a lot of guest interviews and different things like that. That's all archived and all in there. And in fact, I want to do something fun too before we go. And I'm actually not rocking it right now. I'm rocking the Ear Witness Music shirt, but I have Sam's Recording Academy shirts. And you have Make Moves in Music shirts, right, John? Do we have?
I do have Make Moves in Music gear. Yeah, I've got mugs, I've got hats, I've got sweatshirts.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm buying. So I didn't. John doesn't know this, so I didn't want to pop it on him right here. But if anyone adds the next three people, if they add Sam's Recording Academy today, I'm throwing in a shirt. You can get a Make Moves in Music shirt or a Sam's Recording Academy shirt. I'll be the supplier, the dealer.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, if someone jumps in, and I'll just be able to check. I have a host site, so that's kind of what populates. And so there is a Facebook group, a VIP Facebook group, and there's the host site that both kind of house stuff. Alyssa, who helps me out, who does some admin work for Sam's Recording Academy, just put the link in there. So thank you, Alyssa. Very cool. And then I don't have to. Could you get half of one and half the other shirt combined? My wife does so. That would be very it's kind of like when they do like the Dodgers and Angels or USC, UCLA shirts, like half red, half blue. Billy, I like your thinking there. Yeah, like a Franken shirt. House divided. No, just kidding. Yeah, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of this, is there's just no competition. I love everything John does. I always feel like it just is rising tides for everyone that's trying to help people do all this music stuff. So that's been the beauty of this is, as I've started Sam's Recording Academy, John's been super encouraging. I've got so many calls. Hey, what do you think of this from John? And I'm like, dude, brilliant. You should do it. Go, go, go. So just the encouragement and camaraderie and all this has been like really, really cool.
Well, I think honestly, if anything, I love that. And what you just said really reflects a huge part of what I find to be one of the success formulas to the music industry is just having good relationships with good people. It's like it really doesn't take that many good relationships in the music industry to start to find some success. So, Sam, I just have to say this again. It's like, I'm very lucky that you're a part of my music journey and certainly been a big part of my success story too. So it's, hopefully it's just a reminder to everybody, look at who's in this. We got 29 participants in this call. It's like, I would say anytime you're anywhere, is there anybody in this list that you haven't reached out to yet? Is there anybody here that you might like to write a song with? Is there anybody here who has done something cool with their production and you kind of want to see what that's all about? If you wanted to potentially work with them on something, or if you just, find out that they're in the same state and, or you root for the same baseball team or stuff like that. It's I just think it's a reminder that, we really need to think about the relationships in our lives when it comes to the music industry. So it's I just take an opportunity there to remind everybody, find your folks, if you don't have your team yet, it's start right here, start right here in this group on this call, see who's in there. Don't be afraid to say hi.
Yeah,
I love it. A's fans, if there's any A's fans, Nathan's an A's fan, connect with him,
I love just circling back around too, that as you build those relationships too, we talk about like getting stuck, how, that those type of relationships too are the ones that when you are stuck, you have someone you can lean on, or someone that just is so encouraging. That's like, hey, I don't know what to do with this song. I'm kind of like, I hit a wall, and like, that person's going to be like, hey, you can do this. Like here, you're so close. And yeah, all the encouragement is, I love the word synergy, it's just like energy and creativity, swirls, and, like a whirlpool, you jump in and you're in the flow. Like you're gonna, where's Cinder? She's still in here, the flow. See, I threw that in there.
In the flow. Yeah. Well, for anybody who's on here too, just want to talk a little bit about, our collaboration in the next month at Sam's Recording Academy. Some of the things that we're going to be talking about in terms of like turning that corner, getting a little, reining in the inflatable dancing man, that's that whole syndrome. maybe I can talk a little bit about that. Some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about like reclaiming your productivity, tuning out distractions, owning your time management, owning your relationships at work, your computer, your workspace, your mindset. This is probably the most important thing to reclaim your productivity, owning your social media, this little device, this phone thing, like all of this stuff, attacking it at all these different angles. I mean, not even so much attacking it because that's such an aggressive word, but it's just like starting to have some awareness around all these different ways in which we can get sidetracked as music creatives. It's so easy for us to get distracted. And I can only speak for myself, but I know that there's a lot of folks out there who feel the same way because we are not, it's just part of the modern society. And it's exacerbated by the TikTok the whole TikTok thing. Our attention span is so short. It gets shorter and shorter by the minute. So how can we guard this precious resource that we have, our productivity, our attention span? What we're going to be talking about this next month is specific strategies and techniques to reclaim control of that.
Love it. And I'm going to just throw in there too, that I've always felt like one of the things about Sam's Recording Academy is I never want to base like helping people or educating people with like a guilt side to it. And I love that John has such a great way of saying like, hey, look at these things, you know, here's some strategies, here's some ways we can tackle them, but you don't like walk away feeling like, oh shoot, you know, guilt, like he's right, I'm on my phone all the time, I can't, which I am. I don't know, maybe I need a little box by the entryway to the studio to put my phone in when I walk through the door.
Not a bad idea. You know, but here's the thing, it's one of those things where you can feel bad about it. Like one of the biggest things that I get from people all the time is like, because I have a zero inbox for the most part, I'll have like a day or two where it gets a little out of control, but then I use a lot of the same tools that I used to originally get it to a zero inbox to get myself back there and have some sanity with my email. But I have so many people that they come to me and they're like, I've got like 30,000 emails in my inbox. I have no idea what to do with it. And I don't even know how to get started. I feel so bad about it. Every time I open it up, I just give up. I see two things and then I can't even take it anymore. But that's like not how it has to be. Like all of these different things that I'm talking about, these different ways in which you can optimize the way that you work, the way that you show up each day for whether it's your session vocal stuff, your producing, your songwriting, whatever it is that you're doing in the music industry. The thing is, you just have to start to implement it and start knocking it out a little bit at a time. So the stuff that I'm going to be talking about over the next month, it's going to be stuff that you can incorporate slowly as you need to. But each one of these things is immensely powerful, especially when they're all combined together. Then you'll really start to see like a massive shift potentially, because you're really eliminating like most of the distractions that are going to basically cause you to like totally lose track of wherever you're at, fall flat on your face, lose the energy, want to sit on the couch and you know, do the scroll up and scroll down. Like that's what we want to avoid. And it's something that's so easy to get caught into nowadays. But there's things you can use to make, again, it's to make the process fun. It's to make yourself a little more disciplined. It's to make that discipline a fun thing that enthusiasms. It makes you enthused, and also it makes you feel rewarded. Like the system that I run my own business through, I feel that way. Even though like sometimes things get a little, if you take a look at my desk right this second, it could use a little going over. I got a few things going on my desk right now, but it's like, I'm you know, there's no room for like being hard on yourself with all this stuff. Cause some of this stuff that I'm talking about, it's stuff that like runs, it's just part of human nature. So you're always going to be a little bit distracted because you're a human being, but there's a lot of stuff that you can do to get some control over that, because it's really going to help you do all the things. It's going to help you do all the things without losing your mind, which you don't want that either. You don't want to burn out. You want to be productive. You don't want to have to work 18 hours a day either. So all this stuff that we're going to be talking about is going to be super helpful in helping you get to that place if you aren't already there.
I always say I try to just sit here and knock out as much stuff that I need to do. Yeah, sweet. People are saying what's up in the chat, and just so good to see a whole bunch of people here. And again, love to have anyone and everyone in Sam's Recording Academy for the month of November. There's again, there's the link in there if you like want to hop in. First couple people in on this call, I'm going to send either Make Moves in Music shirt or a Sam's Recording Academy shirt. I'm going to look into like how you can make half and half shirts. That's hilarious. Maybe they could be like sweatshirts you zip up and then this like the two go together. Yeah. Someone says what happens to me is I finally sit in front of the DAW and my brain stops working, and I get a little bit of that nowadays too. It's like you gotta like crank it, I don't know, charge back up again.
Well, so I mean, this is a good opportunity to talk about like specific strategies. It's like, well, you know, if that's the case where you're not that I'm like here, Lance, to diagnose like what's going on there, but like I see a statement like that and I'm thinking to myself, is that a case where it could be the time of day in which you're hopping in front of the DAW? Maybe you're hopping in the DAW like late in the afternoon when you're brain isn't as focused or I like to say sufficiently caffeinated. You know, maybe it's a timing thing, or maybe it's it could be an energy thing. It could be, but it's like these little things. There's potentially some hacks that could be used to make it where like if that seems to be the thing that happens a lot, how can we address that so that you're not finding yourself in that position?
So good. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it could be like the phone. Maybe the phone is like you were talking about, Sam, like, you know, put the phone in like in a case, turn the ringer off, you know, turn it down. This is one of my favorite things to do with my phone is turn it down and put it down on the desk. Preferably even like put it out of my eyesight. Then when I sit down at the computer, I'm looking at the DAW, I'm working on stuff, and I'm not thinking about that. I even turn the vibrate off on it because that can be so distracting too, you know? But there's all different kinds of ways in which you can approach this. It could be a mindset thing. We don't know. But yeah, pretty much no matter if you're finding yourself in a situation where you're getting frustrated, you can't focus, there's usually some way through. One of the things that I have like, again, I've like worked on this system. I have thought about all the things that have been helpful to me over the years and I put it all together and the whole intention is to arm everybody here with the tools to be able to, you know, kick ass as much as you can and be able to tune out as much as you can within the reasonable boundaries of being a human being to be able to own your productivity. Finally, own it. It's actually my, it's funny because this is actually my motto for the year is own it. And this is just kind of the way it's kind of manifested for me. So I realized, oh yeah, part of owning it is like, it's like owning it myself and then giving that to other people to show like, this is how I own it. So that's like a big part of this last 6 months has been putting this all together. And it's going to be fun because we're going to be diving into this stuff for the next month in the month of November at Sam's Recording Academy. Go check it out.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I feel like I'm mentally preparing myself for some, I mean, it's something we're always working on. So it's like, yeah. And thank you, John, for agreeing to my crazy idea. I do that. I call up John. I'm like, hey, I got an idea. Let's do this. So let's see. Yeah, people are writing just great stuff in the chat, and we'll call it in just a minute here. If there's any other questions too, again, Alyssa Ober, she's in the chat. You can find her or me on Facebook if you have questions or anything like that. And I should put, there's an email that's just samsrecordingacademy@gmail.com that you could ask like any questions to as well. And just one more time, please make sure that you are joined in on Make Moves in Music. Go find that on Facebook, because like, perfect example, John threw something up there today that was so great. He said something about how did you learn your instrument, and boom, 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 bunch of really encouraging, cool stuff to read and hear. So John's pretty like active on there. I think it's become a awesome resource. So make sure you're a part of that and listen, and yeah, check out the podcast. So great. And then Sam's Recording Academy does have a page that's kind of keeps you informed as well. And Alyssa wrote, thank John for being here today. And she put a link to your Make
thank you.
Music.
Thanks for that. Yeah, come join the group. I make all the announcements, things I'm going to be offering in the future, announcements about the podcast. We have weekly episodes, so those go live, and I like to announce it in there. We also like to talk about different things. Like today, I was like just dropping something in about how, I'm self-taught, how to play guitar and how to sing. And it's like we have a lot of interesting conversations in there about just like what we're doing in the music industry, how we're planning to earn, and how the actions we're taking to actually get there, to flip from learning to earning. It's like a big part of what that group is entirely about. So please, if you're not a part of it, would love to have you in there.
Man, so good. All right. Yeah. So reach out, anyone, if you have more questions. And I do see a couple of Sam's Recording Academy people in here. And I will see you all tomorrow at 3. I got a great little lesson planned. And if you're not, then just, again, link up with us, reach out. And love to have you. I'm one of those like no pressure guys. I'm not like the doors close in 1 hour and you I'm like, I see infomercials and I'm like, but I think John and I both just have a heart for this stuff. And so I'm always just like, if you feel it, jump in, love to have you. And I think you'd get a lot out of November. It's going to be fun. Sure, we'll have some stories, some laughs, and share some good stuff. Have fun while we're doing it. Yeah, we're getting some love in the chat. Thank you. All right, so find us, and Quessy just joined up. All right, so we'll see Quessy there. Awesome. Yeah, and I think that's all I got. Ooh, let's end on a funny story. I don't know if all of you have heard this one. Maybe a few of you have, but one of the first times that John came to my studio and we were working on a bunch of stuff together, he came over to work on some music, and my wife and I are in this one little room that we have that was kind of a kid's playroom, and we're looking all over the place. And John walked in and he's like, what are you guys doing? And I was like, I lost one of our pet snakes. And I'm like, I think I found it. I think it's under this couch. And I didn't know how John would respond to that. And John's like, you lift up the couch and I'll grab the snake. So you got a good friend when you can lift a couch and they'll dive under there and grab your pet snake that they don't even know. That was an awesome one. I should have waited till he was halfway into the couch and been like, oh, it is a rattlesnake, just to let you know, so don't let it bite you.
If you have kids and a dog, you'd be like a terrible person. I wouldn't have believed it anyways, man.
No, I know. Yeah, that I'll never. That's a classic one right there. So many good times. Yeah. That's
great. Yeah, please join, because this is going to be amazing. We're going to go through all different kinds of helpful things. I'm sure they're going to help you out. I'm honestly taking everything that I have used week in, week out, day in, day out, to have the right mindset, to have the right systems in place so that I could be as productive as possible. I'm going to be giving you so much over the next month in Sam's Recording Academy. So I hope you hop in, and we'll chat all about being productive, kicking ass, and taking names later, and looking forward to it. It's going to be really fun. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and thank you, John, for joining us. Man. Yeah. All right. Yeah, cool. A couple of people are gonna jump in with us. All right. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out for a minute. And this was fun. And Sam's Recording Academy people, I'll see you tomorrow. And then in November, we'll see John on the Friday calls, and it's gonna be awesome.
I'll see you then. All right, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Great to see you again. For everybody I already know, and great to meet all the new faces that I have yet to meet.
Okay. Peace. Yeah. Peace and love, everyone. Thanks, John.